Okay, it looks like it's working now. I have no idea what happened. I hope that you guys are with me. So it looks like it fixed itself. I don't know how, but it looks like everything's back to normal. Donc, on dirait que tout est revenu à la normale. We're a little sorry about that. What happened is I actually started. Can see and hear. Good. Um, so yeah, I don't know what happened, but it's the first time that I start a live and that it says that I'm live on Yoda's workshop, but there's no streaming available. So I restarted the stream and it looks like it fixed it. Eh, I don't know why. I don't know why, man. But hey, we're here. Alors bonsoir hein, et bienvenue. Good day, good night, good whatever, wherever you are in this world. Welcome back to this 69th, 69th episode of the Vintage Kids. As you can see, I've put up my banner today of Yoda's Workshop and not the Vintage Kids because today we're going to talk about the reality of stores nowadays. Donc, laissez-moi juste aller voir encore. Tout est beau. Oui, Matt Duffton is in the house. Mr. Jim Arsenault is in the house. 69, dude. Yeah, I know. I've talked about it with my girlfriend. I said, we have to celebrate. Yeah, but I'm going to have to take a bath this week. Okay, let me take a sip of that magical boba brain juice. As you know, for me, it's the bubbles. So it says it right there. Leaving on that side. We're going to talk about the fact, is there a future for hobby and toy stores now in 2023? Alors, ce soir, nous allons parler en français et en anglais, as usual. Y a-tu un futur, y a-tu un avenir, parce qu'on peut pas dire vraiment futur en français, est-ce qu'il y a un avenir pour les commerces, pour les magasins qui ne sont pas nécessairement online? Um, and the reason why I'm asking this, it's first of all, it's been one of my dream kinda to own a store and sell my shit. To have a place where people can come in and go through the aisles. And I'm not talking about a huge store. I've always dreamed to have like that little store that people can come in and there's actually like Kirk is there and I can show some of my great stuff that I have on display and whatever. I have to fix this. My Can you believe my dog managed to make C3PO's head fall on the floor? It's basically almost okay. Uh, so I've always dreamed to have that store where you can come in, put up your own hours, and decorate it as you wish. And of course, Yoda's Workshop, I'm going to talk very quickly about the history of this. Most of you guys already know. En français, donc j'ai toujours rêvé d'avoir un magasin, j'ai toujours rêvé de pouvoir avoir une place avec mes étagères, mais pas une grosse affaire, une petite affaire où les gens ils rentrent et que c'est bien décoré puis c'est mis à ma façon. Une petite historique de Yoda's Workshop. The reason why Yoda's Workshop exists is because back in 1998, I've learned about eBay. And I started selling stuff on eBay. I was one of the first in Canada, in Quebec, not Canada, first in Quebec, to sell some stuff on eBay, and it went like crazy. So I've spent 8 years on eBay full time, and it was great. I managed to make great dough, and everyone was happy. And of course, eBay eventually asked us to create stores. So you became like power sellers, and you would actually be able to open your online store on eBay. And that's when kind of the shit hit the fan because now it was all kinds of stores were able to join in and sell their stuff. So it was pretty rough for a guy like me selling stuff. Anyway, so the name that I gave my eBay store back in the days was Yoda's Workshop. And I was using that logo right there. Uh, well, not, I don't think there was like the card backs in the back. There was like, I was only using this sign and that name. Um, and of course, it was an online store on eBay. Eventually, my daughter was born, and I decided to take a kind of a break out of eBay for several years because I was doing something else. And Yoda's workshop closed down on eBay. And when I got sick, um, I was home. I've been home for a very long time. And I decided to open Yoda's workshop on Facebook. But back in the days, I wanted to open a store, something that people would come in. Donc, histoire rapide, j'ai vendu sur eBay, vous avez compris en français, blablabla. Le monde connaît cette histoire-là. Et Yoda's Workshop, c'est le nom de mon magasin qu'il y avait sur eBay. I used to have 1,600 items per week on eBay back then. It was crazy, man. So I never had a store. Uh, Now what happened is life happened, so I did other stuff. I worked, of course, but when I ended up spending more time at home while waiting during the pandemic or whatever, the health system was is still crazy, but was really, really, really slow and took so much time to get my diagnostic. Blah, blah. I started again to think about I really have to open that store. But what happened during the pandemic is that those stores that were already open had to reinvent their themselves because everything was closed and people would still have to pay their rent on unless it was their own building. You have to pay the rent to have the place where you have your store. So it's not the majority of people that owns the building. Donc, la pandémie est arrivée, les gens, il n'y avait plus personne qui avait le droit d'aller dans les magasins, tout était fermé, everything was closed. Mais les gens devaient continuer à payer leur loyer pour les buildings qu'ils avaient. Donc, il y a un paquet de loyers, un paquet de magasins qui se sont fermés, mais ils ont dû se réinventer. And that when most of us, well, a big part of society learned and had no choice to start buying stuff online. So nowadays, you have Amazon, you have all those big names that you can purchase stuff and you will get them on the same day or next day or whatever. And you still have eBay and you still have whatever. But of course, it hurt a lot of stores, and I know that many of them closed. But uh, I don't think we can actually compare this to the video store era or the time that there was the video stores and people like the technology changed, so people weren't renting VHS or DVDs anymore. So for a store, I mean, the technology changed for selling stuff, but the technology didn't change what we are collecting. So those figures, those statues, those busts or whatever, life-size shit that we collect, you can purchase them on the internet. You'll receive them by mail, but it's not the same thing as going into a store and going through the aisles and looking at stuff. Same, and I'm talking about toy store, but we can talk also about for hobby shops, hobby store that sell actually Star Wars graded cards or hockey cards or whatever. Uh, it's fun to have great pictures of what you want to buy on the web, but there's something magical, there's something fun, there's something, in French we say visceral. I don't know how to say it in English. Visceral. It's inside. You have the fun, the magic of seeing that figure, that car, that whatever you're collecting, that card in front of you, and you have the price, and you say, Jesus, I want that card. That card is wonderful because you're seeing it live right in front of you. Visceral, yes, thank you. Thank you for helping me with my English because, as you know, I ain't fully English guy. I'm more of a French Canadian happy boot. Tactile, hands on, exactly. So I think that this is actually the thing that will save those stores. But there's an issue in all of this, and I'm living it right now. Uh, you do a great job with English by the eat. A boot. By the way, see, you're having issues with your English. I, Jim, I should start offering English courses. Bonsoirs, parking, lunch. I know so many English words. My fat fingers can type, can tie up. Oh man, it's so good to have you guys around. Okay, so here is also the issue. There's of course nowadays it's so easy. You can purchase whatever uh, Star Wars figures. See, yeah, yeah. The new lines, of course, you won't be able to purchase vintage Star Wars toys on Amazon easily. I don't even know if there's some available there. I don't know if you absolutely have to sell from new stuff, but you'll be able to purchase them on eBay. You'll be able to purchase them on any other Facebook sites, a marketplace and stuff. But again, there's something magical when you have that thing right in front of you. And the other thing also is when you go in those kinds of stores, you're going there because you're surrounded by what you love, what turns you on. And I'm not talking about sex shops. Uh, so, en français, la différence, c'est ça, c'est quand tu rentres dans le magasin, tu as les choses devant toi. Et quand tu rentres dans ces magasins-là, il y a quelque chose qui se passe également, c'est que tu es surrounded par tout ce qui te fascine, tout ce qu'on aime, tout ce qu'on apprécie être, ce qui nous allume. Uh, so, you end up going through the aisles, not to take away from this podcast, but have you guys seen the mini mock Facebook? Yeah, yeah, I did. I didn't spend a lot of time watching it, but I have to go check it out. I think it's amazing. They're doing a great, amazing job. Uh, so when you go in those stores, you know you'll see stuff that will light up your fire. And often you're going there and you end up finding something that you didn't expect to see, and you're going to fall in love with that thing right away. So, oh my God, I don't know, I'm going to take this. Just for an example, I use this a lot, but you know what I mean. So you go inside a Star Wars shop and you end up seeing these. These are handmade, well, laser made wooden coaster. There you go. So you got, so you see this, and let's say they're selling it $25 or whatever. And you're like, Jesus, this is amazing. I've never seen this before. Or I've been looking for these for a long time and I want them in my basement or whatever, in my caveman or whatever. Man cave, caveman. Not inside a caveman. Not a good idea. But in a man cave, that's better. Um, so you're gonna end up seeing stuff that will light up your fire. Donc, tu fais le tour, puis tu vois des affaires que tu t'attendais pas, et que tu fais comme, oh my God, je cherchais ça depuis longtemps. Ou ben, wow, j'ai jamais vu ça. C'est combien? 20 piastres, 20 bucks. That's not a lot of money. You're gonna end up purchasing stuff. It's not the same thing when you're actually looking around on Amazon or on eBay. You're gonna see stuff, but there's pictures. Oh yeah, okay, looks. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. But it's not the same thing as having it in front of you. And the best example of this is going to a con, going to the ICCC, going to Comic Cons or whatever. You go there and you expect to see special stuff because you know that you're in a place where there's collectors just like you. Donc, l'affaire qui ressemble le plus à ça, c'est d'aller dans les Comic-Con. Puis c'est là que tu t'attends à voir quelque chose de spécial parce que tu sais que tu es à une place où est-ce que tu as tout du monde qui collectionne les mêmes affaires que toi. Tu fais comme, man, je m'attends à tomber sur de quoi de hot. So when you go inside those stores, you expect to see something special, something wow. You're going to end up having that wow factor. And you're going to probably purchase something you didn't expect to purchase, but you're going to fall in love with it. Back to what I was saying. The pandemic happened. A lot of store closed. Everyone ended up purchasing stuff online. And the magical thing of just not going to go outside, not taking your car, not driving an hour or 25 minutes or 6 hours to go to that nearest shop that you want to go and shop. Uh, but it's something magical. And like I said, it. I don't think that the example or the it's not the same thing. But remember when we were kids and we were going to the video store. You would go to the video store and you go down the aisles and look at all those movies. And say, oh man, this looks great. You will look on the covers and let's try this one. It was an experience. I'm here. Wait, who's here? Joe Ferraro. Welcome in our crazy world. Are you naked? Oh my God, I'm losing users, viewers. Uh, so yeah, so you never know what you're gonna end up having. So I'm feels like I'm turning around saying the same thing. Yes, I'm making. Why? Good, good. Because you're gonna have a special rebate, special deal for naked viewers. Why not? Just don't ask to join the podcast. No, I'm not naked. Why the hell would I be naked watching you? Yeah, that's a very good question. I don't know. You probably would have to ask Kirk. It's not my fault. Okay, so back to non-naked people. Um, we were talking about Kirk. No. So what was I saying? Yeah. Okay. So when people started to purchase stuff during the pandemic and not going into those stores, a lot of them closed. But again, the thing is, with the pandemic, with so many stores that closed, there's a lot of buildings uh, that ended up for rent. Wait, do I have to be to watch this? It's up to you, man. Don't tell Kirk. Yeah, well, that I was we're losing viewers, man. Go put your clothes back on, man. People are afraid. Uh, um, and the title is Vintage Kids. Don't get naked, man. We're gonna be shut down by whoever's watching this or whatever platform we're using. Um, I'm choking to death now. Probably your G string that got stuck right in somewhere. Okay, so I don't know if it's the same thing all around the US or all around Canada or whatever, but the pandemic really hit hard. So there's a lot of place that you've got vacancies. Is that the right word? Il y a beaucoup de places qui sont libres. They're free. And the owners of those buildings are still paying for their purchase, the not the rent, but yeah, the kind of the rent, but they're not renting it. They're paying ils payent leur hypothèque. Hein? They have to pay the building because they purchased it with the bank. Uh, the thing is, when you're purchasing a big building like this that you rent store inside of it, it's the people that are renting your place that are paying for your building. That's the way it works. But nowadays, there's so many places that are empty, and people are not able to get people to rent their stores. So they are losing money. So over here in Canada, in Quebec, the thing that we are actually seeing is that people are raising the rent. So it's the prices were already very high back in, I think it was in 2000. I was looking around in 2005 to start my store. So that's a long time ago. And in the city where I was, on a very well known street, the rent was around $5,000 a month. Not for a huge store, for a medium sized store. And that was a lot of mummy. That was a lot of mummy. Naked stuff. And I know I'm having issues today. I think I'm going to have to talk with my psychologist. Okay, so like I was saying, back in the days, to rent a store was around $5,000 a month. That was crazy prices. So nowadays, I'm not living in the same town, but I'm still next to a very well-known street with a lot of stores, and there's so many stores that are closed. Um, but people are actually telling me the prices are crazy. So think about it. I totally understand if you have a lot of money to take a chance, you can try and rent for a year, and you know that it's a chance. You're trying to see what's going to happen. Of course, you can make a study and make sure does people around here actually collect some hobby stuff or Star Wars stuff or geek stuff or whatever. But you can just try and see if in 1 year you've lost so much money that you have to stop. But I know that there are success story out there. I've talked with our friend Thomas Fagan yesterday. I wanted him to be on the show tonight, but he was not available, and I totally understand. He was working. Uh, but I wanted him to talk about he just opened his store. Um, so I wanted ask him a few questions. I- why did you open it? Are you afraid? Is it something that was a dream, and if you lose money eventually, it's okay because you have enough money? I don't want numbers, but I want to know personally if I start just to try and I lose money, I'm gonna lose everything. You know what I mean? I don't have tons of money that I can say, yeah, I'm gonna use 1,000 whatever to try to open a store. No, it's gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna take money from my house to open that store. We also have Andrea Evans that actually opened her store also. Um, the IC store, the IC Toys. Yeah, is it? Yeah, IC Toys. And it's been 2 years, I think, now that her store is running, and she's doing great. And she stopped working at where she used to work to open that store. So it was a dream for her to do this, and they were able to do it. So I'm wondering, what's really the future out of this? Um, do you have to be someone full of cash, with a lot enough money, knowing that you might lose a lot? Because let's do the maths, okay? Let's do quickly. Let's do the math. On va faire les maths bien vite, okay? Let's say that your rent is $5,000, or yeah, I'm gonna say 5,000 because it's easy to calculate. $5,000 a month you have to pay for the rent to have your store. And by the way, that doesn't include electricity, that doesn't include the internet, that doesn't include the insurance if something goes wrong, and that doesn't include the furniture that you have to put in there. So yeah, you have to be ready. You have to you have to got you have to you have to be ready for this with a lot of stuff that you already have. Like, I'm okay. I would start today. I've got my store is in here, and this is why I actually do all my business from this room, because I consider that Yoda's workshop is in that room. I've built that room especially for this, for not having to have a store. But I don't have any I don't have people showing up at my front door knocking and asking, "Yeah, I'm here to see your store," because it's a online store. But I would love to have people come in and see my stuff and go around and, "Oh, wow, you've got this," or whatever. And again, the reason why I'm talking about the fact that it's a kind of a dream is that I think when you're trying to do this, you can be a businessman, but personally, and I think for a lot of us, I don't know. I would have asked Thomas, and I would have to ask Thomas about this. I think we would do this for the love of our passion, for the love that we've got by collecting, and by the fact that we would have the chance to meet other people just like us. It's the social thing that also happens in those stores. Those stores are specific to people that love that special thing, hockey cards or whatever. People that don't give a shit about hockey cards or don't give a shit about Star Wars won't go inside those stores. But we know that there's a lot of us, and I know how I feel when I see a store with a special store with only like geek stuff inside. I'm gonna freak out, and I'm gonna watch my girlfriend say, "We're going there, man." I say, "Oh yeah, yeah, we're going there, and we'll be there for at least an hour because I want to see everything." Um, so that feeling that you've got when you're inside a special store like that, you want to offer it to others. So for me personally, the money, I had a store in, oh, I had a store in my small town back in 2007. My daughter was born in 2007. Lasted a year and a half, and I ended up, and in the end, I owed $28,000. See, that's what I'm talking about. I've done a few shows, and the meeting with people with the same interests have always made it worth it, no matter was brought in. See, I totally agree. Joe, wow, Joe and Jim, you both guys had a store. So that's amazing. We're talking about stuff that you've lived. You went through the experience. And that's in 2007. So, yeah, you end up owing money because of the rent and the cost of what you have to pay to your owner of that building. So that's the thing. And that's the reason I've got this place built. I've built this and I paid a lot of money, but I paid that money from my house. And now it's part of my house, but it's fucking huge. Just to give you an idea, my space over here, I've got 24 feet long by 14 feet wide. So that's my office. It's Yoda's workshop place. And as you guys see, it's full. And there's a second floor, but that second floor is kind of the attic. So there, I don't have stuff to sell in the attic, but there's a second floor. And the reason why I built this is because I knew that even I've put up, it cost me, just to give you an idea, it cost me around $35,000 to build this place. Um, and it's next to my house. It's literally something that I've had it to the house. And that 35,000 bucks that I paid was used from the money of the house. So I just have to repay it on my mortgage. I'm living here. So it's not if I'm adding an extra mortgage or an extra rent. And it's mine. It's mine. It's my place. So I own this. So I kind of build my own store. I don't know if you understand what I mean. Uh, But like you said, when you own stuff. J'ai manqué quoi? Content de t'entendre. Hey, hey! Let me see. C'est Sébastien Ked, mesdames et messieurs. Yeah, you're saying smart, Jim. You're right. But again, I cannot have customers showing up at my front door. So uh, I have friends that comes around, just like Kirk in the basement. I mean, I have friends that I trust that are showing up, like my friend Kid that just showed up. He comes around, and I trust this guy. So he's my friend. But I would not. Yeah, you. I would not trust anyone just to knock on my door and yeah, come. Yes, at any time of at any hour of the day. So I don't have that feeling of offering a place to people to open the door and uh, we open a small store. Man, I want to do it. That's the reason why I'm doing this week. I'm thinking about it. And the reason I've decided to talk about this is that with my health issues, I've just learned that I'll never be able to go back to what I was doing. And I might have to reinvent or find something. Um, Absolutely not. They're too worried they've come back to rob you. Yeah, you're totally right. Um, so I kind of have to think of a new way to make sure that I have enough money by the end of the month. You know what I mean? So, of course, that possibility of opening a store is still in my mind. But again, would it work? Would it work? I'm going to read what you just said. I do have to stay though. If I had a regular storefront, I would be feeling differently because I'd be needing to pay my expenses and wouldn't have the luxury of not worrying if I pay for my space at a show. Yeah, well, that's another thing. That's another thing. What I'll also have to do in the near future probably is reopen a company. And when I do, if I eventually do more Comic Cons like I used to do back in the days, and do any kind of cons, uh, the money that you actually pay to be there would be expenses that you can put at the end of the year as expenses on your company. Right now, I can't do this. So the last time, and I've talked about this in the past, but very quickly, uh, the last time I went to a Comic Con, uh, it was $600. I paid $600 to be at that Comic Con. So keep in mind that's $600 for me to be there. I'm not. I cannot use it as expenses. I don't have a company. It's my personal money. So when you want to make that, you can count on me to help you. Yeah, I know. Egg sandwich. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Tell me about it. Write, kid. Write down what happened about those egg sandwiches. So back to how much I paid. And that's a long time ago. That's just before the pandemic. $600 to have that small space on the Comic Con. So for me, if I want to see $1 of money coming back to me, I'm gonna have to spend another 600. I have to sell another $600 in that con just to pay for my $600. We played Guess My Fart. Yeah, that's about what happened. And people were running away from our stands now because they were saying, Ked was saying it was the other guy on the other side, you farts. No, I'm kidding. So, what I'm saying is that when you pay $600 from your personal money, you have to sell $600 of your of your collection of your Star Wars stuff, and at 601, that's the first dollar you're gonna make on that show as a profit. But it's not really profit because you would actually lose $1,200 to make $1. But when you're a company or a store, you can put those expenses and kind of use it when you do your taxes. But now I'm not able to do this. So again, uh, the other cool thing about having my store in my house is that when I'm going to open a company, if I do it, and it looks like I'm going to have to do it, uh, I'll be able to put expenses, the rent of the space that I pay for my place over here, the electricity, the internet, it's all for my company. And then I'll be able to ask Ked to eat more egg sandwiches and come with me at every cons, and we'll change our name to Farts Workshops. Ked's Farts Workshop. Um, so the reason why I was asking the question, is there a future for a store? Uh, Now that the pandemic is kind of gone, but there's still people freaking out about it. There's a lot of people that are just don't like anymore to go in public space in puppies public spaces. Oh man, anything to be on a show again. Well, it will happen probably sooner than you think. And I'll talk about it. Just I'm gonna just say what I was saying. Um, so back to the question: is there a future? People are now kind of afraid to go back to the stores, and people still put their mask and freaking out on stuff. So there's less customers in stores. I mean, I totally understand people still go to the groceries, but in those specific stores, it's not easy to have customers. And also, the big thing is, even if you have your store that people can show up to, you still have to give the offer or the possibility to purchase online. So you'll have to do both nowadays because this is where the technology is. Um, how many times that you go in the store and you say like, "Oh, I'm here to buy that Boba Fett mug. Do you have it?" "Oh no, I don't have it here, but you can purchase it online on our website." "Oh, okay." So that's another reality. If I would have to open my store tomorrow, I would not be able to bring everything that is in here in the store. I mean, there's way too much stuff. And again, I would bring, like I said, I would bring Kirk. I would bring probably my vintage Miss Pac-Man thing to, so people can have fun with it. But I would not be able to put everything on display. So I would leave stuff over here. Um, and that's also the reason that I would not be interested to have a huge store. I would prefer to have a small one that also you can have different items every month because you sell stuff, you bring new stuff, and it's not always the same thing. You're not in a Walmart. It's not like, let's go in the aisle and see if there's more Lando Calrissian vintage collection on display, you know? It's like, wow, this week you actually I just love C3PO. You actually have a life size C3PO bust. Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. And then whoop, you sell it, and whoop, now there's a giant Kirk in the stormtrooper suit. But like Jim said, it's fun. It's a dream. It's something very cool to have. It's something very cool to manage. But again, if in 1 year you end up having $28,000 in debt, it's not a good idea. It's not a very good money placement, investment, you know? So that's the question. Is there a future? Because it's not anymore a very good investment. That's the thing. And you rearrange the complete display of things so people will feel always it looks newer than the last visit. Exactly. Exactly. You're totally right. Kid, you're right. And that's the cool thing about it. People come in once and they say, wow, it was cool. And they come back a few weeks later and, oh, you've got so many new stuff. Yeah, uh, come every week if you want because things are moving. Things are moving, man. It's not a question of only if you're selling it, is if it's possible to change your displays, to change your the thing that you're offering. It's always cool. My collectible store has changed constantly. See, exactly. And that what makes people take the time to go out of their houses and visit you at the store. So, like I said, I would have loved to have Thomas answering a few questions tonight live with us. But maybe next time, if we do another one on that subject, because I would have tons of questions for him. Um, so, Ked, what I was saying earlier is that I'm starting to think that, well, I'm not thinking, I might have to find a way, because very quickly, I totally understand that people don't give a shit about other personal health or issues or whatever, and I'm not here to talk about this necessarily, I just give you an idea. So I've learned recently that it looks like I'll never be able to go back to my work, the work that I've been doing. If Audrey agrees, all in. Yeah. Um, so I don't know. It doesn't look like I'll be able to go back to what I've been doing for the last 30 years due to my health issues. And I'm not going into deep into that maybe another time. So I will have to find a way to use what I've built during the last 4 years, Yoda's workshop, that Facebook group and that thing, our podcast, the Vintage Kids, to see if I'll be able to make a little money out of it. And I'm not asking you guys money. That's not what I'm saying right now. I'm not talking about raising money on the Vintage Kids. No, 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 no. I'm talking maybe opening a store. And of course, doing more conventions. Well, it's too bad. Yeah, it's nice for you to say, Jim, but it's just it makes sense that I won't be able to do that job, that work anymore. Um, I did this for so long. I've been in that movie video production. I made tons of little movies, little video productions for so many people, but basically that college where I work. And I've worked my ass off, like literally. Just to give you an idea, every year I would manage to get 11 weeks of overtime. So I would have 11 weeks off every summer. During the summer I would not work, but can you imagine the numbers of hours I used to work every week to get to 11 weeks of vacation overtime that I've worked, because where I work, I work for the government. I work in the school, so I don't get paid money when I do overtime. I get paid by time. So if you work on Sunday, on a Saturday, what I used to do a lot, I would work on Saturday, I would get a day off, paid with a day off, and I would manage to build a bank of vacation of 11 weeks per year. Crazy. You're gonna say, man, 11 weeks. You're probably what's great for you. Yeah, it was great, but I was so tired when I would come to my when I would arrive to my vacation time. It would take a month. I would need a month, literally 4 weeks to sleep and to rest, and like trying to get back on my feet. So now I've just learned that last week. The specialists, the people that are taking care of my thing, told me, "Man, you're never gonna go back to do what you used to do. It's impossible with your health issues." So they've started to ask me, "Would you be able to do something on your own?" Because they don't think that I'll be able to work for anyone anymore due to that diagnostic. People will not take any chances with hiring someone with that issues, health issues. And no, I haven't killed anyone. No, I not yet. No, you know what I mean. It's not a mental state. It's in the brain. It's a brain thing. Did you see that elephant? I'm not seeing shit. Not seeing stuff. So anyway, so now I have to think about reinventing myself or continuing this, but to put the pedal at to find a way that this will make this will help me selling more stuff, because yeah, so the store and doing conventions, and I want to purchase a truck. I want to buy a truck. I don't drive. I'll never be able to drive due to even if I wanted to start driving tomorrow with my thing, I won't be able to drive. So I need to hire someone that will drive that car, and I would call that person and say, okay, we've got a show next Sunday in La Chute, or we have a show in Montreal, or we have a show in whatever. Come to the States, we will all get a spot and split the space. That would be so cool, man. We could actually, that would be amazing, man. Can you imagine this? Can you imagine this? That would be so cool, man. Some of us from the IC or from the MMC or from Yoda's workshop or any kind of group that we are in, uh, and Uber when needed. Yeah, well, it's not going to be a Uber. It's going to be the transport adapté. But I still need a car. I still need a truck to go to the convention and bring Kirk and bring other stuff that we'll be able to sell. That I don't have to rent that truck and I would have to pay for renting a truck. Instead, I prefer purchasing one and put Yoda's workshop on that truck and we would go around with that truck and go to conventions and go to marché aux puces, flea markets and stuff. That would be great, man. And the days that I'm not okay, I would just say, man, I'm not going anywhere. And it's okay because that's the health issues. And buy collections. Exactly. Just like what I've been doing for the last 4 years. This is why I've got so many fucking boxes because I've been buying stuff for the last 4 years. And reselling stuff and having fun with it. And it's fun. I should. I'm enjoying this, and that's what the specialists are. A laser disc, yeah, man. Yeah, I got a laser disc, man, and then it broke my nose, and oh, look at that elephant. That's another story with me and Ken. Anyway, so so it's all that thing that I have to think about. Will it be a store? Will it be just a company and use this place as still just an online store? Do some conventions? So I'm wondering, are stores still have a few toy stores and hobby stores? Does is there a future for this kind of places without ending up owning 28,000 bucks after a year? See, I love the fact that Jim wrote that, and I love the fact that Joe also you've been there, you've used it, and I don't want to know about your financial situation, but I know mine, and I know that I cannot end up owning $28,000 at the end of the year. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that subject actually came up with me thinking about what am I going to do. But again, there's some success stories out there. Like I said, Andrea, Thomas right now, and I've got a few people that open stores around over here in Quebec, and It's working. It's working. But again, I'm not a guy that tries to make so much money and live out of this. I'm not. I don't live for money. I live to have fun. But if you end up like me, claim bankruptcy instead of paying it off, like I did, yeah, Jim, you're. I'm laughing at this, but I've talked about this with my daughter, and I said, man, I would open a company, name it whatever you want, go to the bank and say, I need that amount of money, and that amount of money is to pay for the rent of that store. And after a year, if you're $28,000 in debt, you say, okay, bankruptcy, but you don't call a bankruptcy on your name. You call a bankruptcy on your company, and you can start over, and it won't hurt your personal finances. See what I mean? There's a lot of things that we can try, uh, and there's specialists people that are only do this. They know all the places to go, all the right people to talk to. Seriously, I was stupid. I should have claimed bankruptcy, and it could have been forgive so quickly. But again, it's the important thing is that you don't use your name. You have pass for the revenue of the first year or so. Oh, see, that I didn't know. There's tons of stuff I don't know. Um, so anyway, I'm in all of this in my head. I know I've got good friends like Ked. I've got my girlfriend. I've got my daughter that wants to help me. I've got other friends. I've got my father-in-law. Audrey's father just came home this weekend, and he said, "Man, uh, I'm retired. I would love to work with you. I would love to work with you, and I would not charge you a lot of money, but if you need me, I would love to put time helping you out selling stuff because you've got something cool going on." But then again, it's not only for the money, it's for the fun of it. I The important thing in this fucking life is to have fun. Keep that in mind. Life can be so fucking short. We've lost another friend recently, 42-year-old, 42-year-old fucking cancer. Ciao bye, gone. Stop thinking about your far future because you don't even know if you'll get there. Think about that's what that the new way that since I've got my health issue, since we didn't know for a long time what it was, I decided to uh, prepare my life or schedule my life 10 years. That's it. I'm going to fix everything for the next 10 years. And in 10 years, if I'm still around, I'll prepare the next 10. And that's it. I don't want to prepare my life for when I'll be 85. Let's prepare it for when I'll be 59, 58, 60. And then I'll prepare for 70. And I'll see what that crazy world that we are living in is going to be like, you know? So, guys, that's it. I've been talking for a little more than an hour, and I'm sorry about the beginning of the show when there was an issue with the streaming on Yoda's workshop. Thank you for you guys to have come back and watch the rest of this. Um, I hope you enjoyed it. It was a different subject of what we are used to talk about, and because as you know, it's not always easy to find a good subject to talk about for an hour. Um, I really want to start to have guests on the show. So I really enjoyed the people while I was running my store. I wish you all the best, no matter what you decide. Thank you very much, man. Oh, Rich Kulak is in the house, man. You're a little bit late, man. The show's done. That's okay. You can watch it on Facebook and you can watch it on YouTube. And it was basically 98% in English tonight because there was so much stuff to talk about that it would have been a 3-hour show. All right, that I appreciate it, man. Jim, probably will because I don't know. I should have more information or more answers on where I'll have to head out to. I'll have more answers on all this never-ending story that began in 2019 for me. That's crazy, man. And I think we're gonna reach a kind of a last episode on this incredible story, and then I'll have to take real important decision for the next few years for me, and that's I'll probably have more questions about this. So, guys, thank you very much for joining me. Merci d'avoir été là ce soir avec moi. J'espère que c'était pas trop ennuyant. I just want to say something really quickly. I don't think she's watching, but I don't think she'll watch this episode. But I want to say thank you to Carrie Byron from the Mythbusters. Thank you, Carrie, for replying to my messages. Thank you for taking the time. I really, really appreciate it. You have no idea what it means to me. So I just wanted to say thank you, Carrie, for last week. Uh, so that's it. So we're gonna see each other again next week, uh, and I think that next week is going to be the draw. We're gonna draw a winner for the two calendars. We are all here for you, man. That's I really appreciate this, man. Definitely always an interesting conversation. Thank you very much. You guys are very, very important to me. I've said it in the past. You have no idea. You have no idea how much it it's good for me for so many reasons. I had a rough last 4 years. My life is changing so much. I'm heading to kind of the unknown, and you guys, the MMC, the IC, all the groups, Yoda's workshop, all those 69 hours of Vintage Kids has been something that helped me so much that I'll never be able to thank you guys enough. Because it was a rough last 4 years. And Ked was there, saw me a little trying to get out of the water. Anyway, so see you next week. Next week, we're going to draw some winners because we have two advent calendar that I'm going to give away. And I'll also have a cap. I'll probably put two caps in there. And we'll have some fun. And the subject, what we're going to talk about, I have no idea. So see you next week. If you haven't participate to that contest, go sign in to put your name on that wheel that we're going to spin next week. Have an amazing week. Be safe, be good, be wild, be you. Take care, my friends. Love you all. Bye-bye.